They say twins are connected.
They finish each other's sentences,
Read each other's minds.
feel each other's pain.
And sometimes, they even relive each other's worst memories.
Hi, I'm Casey aka Queso, and today I'm doing my first game review, so bear with me. But I particularly wanted to review Tell Me Why because it is a game that I have been really looking forward to playing. I am a huge fan of Don't Nod, and I have played Life is Strange, Life is Strange 2, Life is Strange Before the Storm and Captain Spirit multiple times, and it is because I absolutely love story-based games. I absolutely love games where you have elements of choice and decision making and where there's replayability. I absolutely love games that are really character driven and character focused and where you see a development of the character as you go along. And I loved Life is Strange that much. I spent about a week researching into game design and game developer and looking if I could do that because it just really inspired me, even though it's something that I would never be able to do. But I just think they are a really inspiring company with their games. The topics that they approach are really interesting and really niche, and I think it's good that specifically in Tell Me Why, the introduction of this game through the trailer and things, we are told from the very beginning that the game is centered around a transgender man, and that really got me excited because it was just typical of Don't Nod inclusivity in games and of them approaching areas that most gaming companies are afraid to approach, they shy away from because they're not the mainstream thing to do. But I thought that creating more positive representations of transgender characters in games would be amazing, so I was very excited. So Tell Me Why is about Tyler Ronan and Alison Ronan, who are twins, and initially I thought that you could only play as Tyler, but it turns out you do get to play as both characters, an element which I really liked about this game. Tyler and Alison have not seen each other for 10 years following the death of their mother, where Tyler killed his mum in self-defense, and he has since been in a juvenile detention centre. And Tyler has used his time well through this 10 years. He has transitioned, he's got himself a degree, he's been mentoring other people, and Alison on the other hand has been living with the policeman who actually arrested her brother. She's working in the local shop and she seems happy with her life, but she doesn't seem to have the same drive as her brother Tyler. So the game starts where they're both being reunited after 10 years. The Ronan twins are then returning to their childhood home because they need to sell the property, and upon going there they begin looking through the house, finding clues and learning more about their mother and their past, which makes them extremely curious about the events that led up to their mother's death. So this is why they then begin to question people in the town, they begin to question themselves, and the way they're able to gain this information is because they basically have a twin bond where they are able to see memories together from their childhood. They are also able to talk to each other in their head, and we are told that they've been able to do this since they were children. So I thought that was a really interesting concept. Don't Nod again were approaching the supernatural with their newest game. However, I just felt that the twins should seem closer to have this bond where they are able to talk to each other telepathically. Very quickly after they've been reunited, they're able to talk telepathically, and to me this didn't reflect where their relationship was upon meeting each other. It's very interesting to see through their memories that they were extremely close as children, and through these memories we do gain an understanding about the bond that they both share. It just does seem to be lacking in the present day, but I really love the memories as well, the way they are pixelated, the way they're quite ghostly and fragmented, and this emphasises of course that memories aren't always reliable. Through the beginning of episode 1 we do see them shared memories and they both are exactly the same. However, as the game progresses, we begin to see different versions of events from Tyler's perspective and Alison's perspective. You then have to choose whose perspective you believe and whose you want to follow. However, because episode 1 is largely focused around Tyler and we play him the most, I did feel that although sometimes I agreed more with Alison, I felt like I had to choose Tyler's version of events because I didn't want it to negatively impact our relationship. So I don't know, I think that's obviously my own issue with the game, but I do think the game does push you in that direction to be supportive of each other, to maintain your bond, even if you don't fully agree with what you're doing. Of course, that would be interesting to replay the game and do the opposite and see where that leads. But yeah, as much as I really have enjoyed the fact that you do get to choose between their memories, and being able to see their memories from different perspectives also enables us to understand how they viewed their mother, their own personalities, their own things that they were going through in childhood. It's very interesting, but I just think we are pushed quite often to go towards Tyler's perspective because the first episode is largely focused on him, so we feel that we want to align with his character over Alison's. There's a lot of detail in the environment when you're exploring the house and you learn lots, but it is quite slow paced. There are no playable dramatic scenes really in episode 1, although there are very dramatic and emotive flashbacks that we do see. However, these are non-playable and these are from when Tyler and Alison were children. So it is very interesting to watch those, but there isn't that same urgency so far in episode 1 as, for example, in episode 1 of Life is Strange, where there is something really big that happens and you're a part of. In this game, the big circumstance, the death of their mother and Tyler going to juvenile detention centre has already happened. So we are now picking up the pieces afterwards, but we are not necessarily involved in that drama as it happened. Feel that I know enough about the representation of transgender in games and in other forms of interactive media, so I won't say too much. This is just my own opinion, and I do feel that it is very positive that Tyler is very confident in who he is. In episode 1 we do meet some characters who seem cautious of Tyler or not very understanding. They are not really transphobic, but I think it just emphasises that in this Tlingit culture in Alaska where the game is based, it's quite a secluded area and they possibly do not know much about transgender people. There possibly is not many transgender people where they are due to a small population and being very isolated from the wider world. However, they do come across at times as cautious of Tyler. Either they were in the past and since they've become more accepting, or when they first meet him and then they become more accepting as they speak to him. So I think it's good because it emphasises positive change in people, that sometimes you might not fully understand something. However, once you have learned more about this or once you have spoken to the person, you can easily understand it. And Tyler's confidence when he speaks to people, when he says who he is, when he talks about himself, he is so confident in himself as a transgender man, as he should be, and it is just really good to see this. It's good to see that through these 10 years Tyler really knows who he is. He's not unsure of himself, he's not nervous or anxious through this game. When we are meeting him in this game, he is fully confident and fully happy in who he is, as he should be, and I just thought it was really good to see that he is not a character who is appearing to be lost or has any conflict within himself. The only conflict he has is between him and his relationship with his mother and understanding his mother, but Tyler himself is fully aware of who he is and he's proud of who he is, and it was really nice to see. I feel like Tyler's character is very fleshed out in this game. He is very caring, as we've seen with him being a mentor. He seems to care a lot about the environment, much more than Alison, who's quite dismissive of the whole thing. However, Alison is the one who is much more emotional when it comes to investigating their past, although it is Tyler who is the most invested and who is looking for the truth. And this again, sometimes Alison would be cautious to go in somewhere, and Tyler would ask if she was okay, and vice versa if Tyler at certain points seemed a bit upset, but it just didn't seem enough for me. Like, the other character would still just walk in the room. They wouldn't really care that their twin was upset by what was going on or where they were, and again, that just to me didn't make me feel like they were as close as the game wants us to believe. I also love that the characters interact with the environment. So when you're playing as a playable character and you're walking around, you're investigating, the other character isn't just following you around or waiting and not doing anything. They will move with you, but they also will, if you're stopping and looking something, lean up against something or look at something themselves. It's just a lot more natural and authentic and believable, and I really like that, because I hate when you're doing things and another character is just standing there waiting for you to interact with them. So I really like that detail in this game. In episode 1 as well, there are some puzzles. For example, you have to open your mum's door and you can either break through it, which has a negative consequence on your relationship because Alison doesn't want you to, or you can work out the puzzle to get into your mum's room. This means that you have to use the book of Goblins that the mum wrote for Alison and Tyler when they were children, and this can be a bit tedious because it does mean reading through children's stories, which as an adult it isn't really enjoyable to do. I have seen through other videos, however, that as the episodes go on, there are further mini games that don't always involve this book and can be quite fun and light-hearted, so I am intrigued to see those, but I wasn't really keen on having to do that. I felt like it just didn't really fit in the game, and while they were being very emotional going through the house, I all of a sudden had to just do this in the middle of it, and it just seemed quite frustrating to me that it was there. But yeah, I am a massive fan of Don't Nod. I do have mixed feelings about this first episode. It didn't hit me like I wanted it to. I felt quite just nonchalant about the whole thing as it was going on. As much detail as it tried to give me and things, I think I just couldn't fully believe in their relationship, which stopped me from fully being invested in the game. The graphics are really, really good. The detail in the environment, the things that we learn, and the way that the game progresses, I all really enjoy. It is slightly lacking in pace for me, but again, the type of game this is different. It is more investigative than some other games Don't Nod have done, so that is of course understandable. So I'm really eager to play episode 2 and episode 3. I was really disheartened when I went to play episode 2 and realised I had to wait a week, but at least it isn't months and months like the Life is Strange 2 series. So yeah, I really hope their relationship progresses through this story and that I can become more invested. I really hope you enjoyed this review, and if you would like to see my reviews on episode 2 and 3, which I will be doing as they come out, then please subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!